So for part two, tell me a little bit of the fun factors, if I may ask you real quick. What was your best book, but one book only, that you read that really helped you?
So because our core business is marketing, I will pick The Purple Cow from Seth Godin. A little tiny hint. We are going to have Seth Godin on the Let's Talk Business podcast very soon. That's a milestone that I wanted to get. But that would be a one book. And if it needs to be 10 books, you could download my top 10 recommended book guide.
Excellent. What was your longest vacation you were able to take when you're able to be disconnected 100% from your business?
I did it once and once only so far. It was I would say it was like 8 days. And it was the only time where I actually told my partner and everybody in my office that if they need me, they should call my wife's cell phone. And I literally shut my phone fully. It was once and once only. Maybe I'll do it again, but I wanted to prove myself that it's possible.
I had a very similar thing. I did the same thing. I went away for 5 days only, but I left my phone physically in my car in Newark, and my family knew they can get in touch with me through my wife. Okay, another fun factor here. What's the one light bulb moment, we call it, maybe in the last 90 days or so, that you really engage with the fact that you are right on focus with where you want to get to, like something that snapped that said, I hit it?
I wouldn't say it's a light bulb moment. I know that discipline and focus is the most important thing for every entrepreneur, and I try to constantly be better at it. And I work very much with the calendar. I work very much with my priorities. I have must-dos versus to-dos on a daily basis. I have priorities for the month, for the quarter. I work with green zones, if that makes sense. So every day I have blocks of green zones. In the beginning of the week, I know what type of activities do I want to put into the green zones. And those are usually activities that match up to the priorities that the business needs from me. I'm the CEO. I work on the business versus in the business. So on the business, there's very direct responsibilities a CEO has. And I always tell leaders, if you're going to be busy with the nitty-gritty, nobody else will do your job. Because the nitty-gritty, you might have somebody else that you're paying for to do, and you're helping that person out. But if you are the CEO of the company, there is real responsibilities the CEO has to be responsible for. And if you don't do it, nobody else will do it for you.
So I'm actually going to use that analogy for people to get clarity of what does it mean to work on the business versus in the business. And talking about the green zone and your calendar schedule, just to stress over here, the 5 leadership abilities, which is so important, which is to simplify, to be able to delegate, to be able to prioritize, to systemize, and to have a structure. It sounds like you have that all built out really, really perfect, in the sense that you even recognize when it's time to revisit it and restructure it from the point of what has to get changed and what has to be time oriented and everything like that. So that's fascinating.
So I was hoping you wouldn't say that I have it all figured out, because I love when somebody asks me if you have it all figured out, and the answer is no. And you won't find a real leader telling you that they have it all figured out, because we all keep on figuring out. The journey of an entrepreneur, the journey of a leader, is to always keep on improving on what they have built, learning and improving. So the process that I mentioned to you, people ask me, so you're so rigid with a calendar and everything else? And the answer is no. You have to have it. It should work at least 60% of the time. If you don't have it at all, it never works. But if you have a system that works 60% of the time, of course, I'm also flexible when I need to be flexible for my team members, for my family, for my clients, whatever it is, I need to be flexible. However, you want to start off with a 60% with the structure.
100%. So that's why I said that it's always evolving because of time and situations, and there's always urgencies, especially when you're working on the business. People think, okay, well, I'm closing my door and nobody can get in and nobody can, disturb me. And then there goes that fire and you're back in the weeds, or you're busy with what has to get done with the moment. You spoke about the to-dos. You mentioned that it's a must. I know Gino calls it the today's. Share with the audience, and I know we're going overtime, so this is like part 2. How many things do you put in the green zone within your first third of your day? So let's say the first 90 minutes or 2 hours, typically, what does that look like for you?
So if we don't have to look at the exact timing as far as the 40 minutes, I'll tell you the following. I look at projects within a company. I bucket them in 3 categories. There's priorities, there's tasks, and there's to-dos. Priorities is where the focus of the entrepreneur as the leader needs to be, which could be in a priority could be multiple tasks, multiple projects that, let's say a company wants to become digital. So they want to go from paper, they want to become paperless, and they want to do everything into digital. That could be a priority for a company, but that could be multiple components. That's this one part is the website, one part is the communication with our clients, one part is the billing and bookkeeping. Each one could be a multifaceted type of project. Yeah. So that fall in. So, and then there's task, and then there is to-dos, which could be bits and pieces of that task. So I look at it the following. So priorities are usually company-wide. Tasks could be team-wide, like multiple people, and then to-dos are usually individual-based. So when we speak about green zones, I want to just make sure that people understand everybody has their own green zones. So you could speak to people, I like the morning hours. Or people say, no, in the morning I have to go through everything. Comes afternoon, I could block out a couple of hours. Some people have the night. Everybody has their own green zones. They know their 2 things: when it is, and how long their attention span is, how long they can do those green zones. In my opinion, is in my life, so to speak, I know that it's usually the maximum is 1.5 to 2 hours, the max that it could go into a green zone, and then I have to have a bunch of buffer. And what I do with those is I match it up to priorities. So let's say we want to work on forecasting, changing our forecasting plan, or our marketing strategy. There might be other people working on the priority of redoing our marketing strategy. They might give me a bunch of reports and everything else. And this week, the goal for me is to go from start to finish on that project. So it might be multiple green zones. So the first one, I just want to review all the documentation that was sent to me. And then there might be some follow-up I need for my team. And then 2 days later, I might use another green zone to knock it out and until I have the finish line. So not all green zones are start to finish projects. Sometimes it's just the information that I need to do in order somebody else could take it back and work from that as well. Now, the must-dos and to-dos, that's something that's a very easy gimmick, so to speak, for people to get more productivity out. And what that means is most people have some sort of to-do list, regardless if it's on the paper, if it's in your mind, if it's on a system, whatever you use. The problem is if you have a list of 10 things, 12 things on your to-do list, our tendency is to go to the easy ones and procrastinate on the ones that are really important. So I usually do a to-do list. I come in a little bit on Sundays. I prepare my to-dos for the week, or sometimes in the morning for the day, whatever works for you. But after I do my whole list, I'll come back and highlight or circle around the must-dos for that day or for that week. And that tells me what a must-do will be. Either somebody else cannot continue doing something if I don't do my part, or the business needs that from me, even if it's hard, even if it's not the easy one, even if it's a phone call to somebody that I'm procrastinating for 2 weeks to put off, I have to get it out. So that's just the gimmick, not gimmick. That's the tactic of making sure that the right things are being done versus, I feel good. 7 things were crossed off my to-do list. Guess what? Those 7 things were easy. Okay. The hard ones are getting the redone day to day, they pushed off. Now it's weeks that it's sitting on your system, whatever it is.
Excellent. Okay, so two more of the fast questions, and then we have to wrap it up because I'm going way over the time that I blocked out on your calendar, so I don't want to mess up the rest of your day. Do you have a morning ritual outside of our religious traditions that you do every single morning?
So I wake up pretty early. I learn in the morning, I daven, and I travel to work. And usually I'm at work before 9 o'clock after everything's said and done. I usually always listen. I love to learn, so I always listen to some sort of podcast in the morning hours. So that's something that I've got into the habit. So I come to work I learned something new that day already. And then my morning is, the first thing is I start my daily routine, so to speak. So the ritual in work is I go through the easy stuff. I go through the emails and stuff like that. I prioritize my day. And then sometimes I could just close my inbox or, if you use Gmail, there's hide your inbox, whatever it is, and start working on the day. So I think that's enough. Like that's pretty much the rituals that I have on the morning hours.
On the morning hours. Okay. Do you take clarity breaks? And if you do, how often, for how long of a time?
So clarity breaks could be as much as like if I want to eat lunch and I'll deliberately go out of my office and find somebody else that I want to sit with and have my lunch break there. So it's just change of scenery. Sometimes I'll literally have a meeting with someone. I'll say, let's take a walk around the block. I do have it in my calendar to be fully transparent. I should be more stricter with those clarity breaks than I'm having it. I would say I have every other one. So, I would say we have it like 3 times in a day. I would say once or twice a day it happens just by just natural. I have to take the break because people don't realize sitting in the same place and even being into something, you got to sometimes refresh and start again.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you so much for coming on. So for those that are watching and would like to be a guest on our show, please reach out to me right here on LinkedIn. I know you're watching it now on YouTube already because of the restriction of LinkedIn, or maybe Meny will be able to educate me how to get longer than 14-minute videos on LinkedIn. For the rest of you, thank you for watching. Thank you for being on, Meny. And we look forward to having you back on another podcast with more time and more tips and tricks and depth and wisdom.
Sure. And for your listeners, if you want to follow the content I put out on LinkedIn, it's Meny Hoffman, Meny with an E. If it's PTEXS Group, it's PTEXSGroup.com. And for the Let's Talk Business podcast, it's PTEXSGroup.com/LTB podcast. And you could find, I think, 14 ways to follow the podcast.
Excellent. And yes, I meant to say that for the ways to get in contact with Meny. So there you go.
Sure.
I have to get my script better. So I don't have a full script yet, but this is supposed to be all natural, all human wise.
That's what it is.
So thank you. Thank you. We'll get better. And when I'm up to session 400, Meny, we'll look back and laugh together.
It's okay. We just perfect one day at a time.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you so much. I really
Have a good one.
appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Likewise. All the best.